What's up, everyone? How are you guys doing? In this game, we have SAS spawning in the southwest as the red RUS, and in the northeast, we have Fax spawning in as J'Dark in blue. This is a matchup that I actually haven't seen much of, so as soon as it popped up, I knew I had to cast it. It's going to be a very different type of a very different type of game than what we could normally tell from J'Dark matches, because generally the games that we have seen are matchups that favor the French already. So then once you throw in J'Dark in there, it's gonna tilt it more in her favor, in my opinion, of course. You know, the stats are there for anybody that wants to look it up, but generally that's how it feels. It's a win more civ in terms of the civilizations that French was able to beat. You're going to be able to beat those same civs a little bit harder or a little bit quicker as J'Dark herself. The major difference in this one, though, is this has already been a pretty decent matchup. Idle time, civ idle time, a couple seconds. That's not gonna hurt him in the long run, hopefully. In the RUS French matchup, honestly, there wasn't ever, in my opinion, there wasn't really ever a clear favor in the two. It's who had the better multitasking, and these are some phenomenal players that we do have with us right now. Since both of them do have the early knights, well, the Royal Knights are, statistically better than the RUS early Lancers, but the RUS aren't going to be in a heavy disadvantage or anything of the sort when it comes to those types of harassments. The other huge X factor in this game is RUS goes out onto the field and kills things. It kills all the huntable animals. It kills all of that. So it's already going to be a lot of experience denial, just because the RUS are playing their game. This is what they do. They go out there, they kill the wolves, they kill the boar. The deers don't give experience over to J'Dark. But even then, having a player actively going out there and denying wolves and boar is going to significantly change how much experience you're going to be getting throughout the match, right? Another huge factor is going to be the Kremlin. The Kremlings that you get from their defensive units are insane. They're really strong for literally costing nothing. It's just time based. I think it's every minute and a half you get a ticket, right? It got nerfed. Yeah, so every minute 20 you get a militia unit. So you're able to just stack up. If nothing happens for 10 minutes, you're gonna have 8 tickets stacked up, and each ticket produces three militia, I believe it is, 2. So if the J'Dark player does decide to go in there and be aggressive out of nowhere, not necessarily out of nowhere, but decides to be aggressive, and you're on the other side of the map, you're able to get those militia units out to defend. Yes, you still have to micro. You actually do have to micro, your militia, in order for them to not get completely melted by J'Dark's Holy Wrath ability. In the last J'Dark game we saw, though, they decided to go for the archer variant or archer path instead of the woman at arms. Here, honestly, there's no way we're gonna see Fax go into archer against early knights. There just isn't. She's not going to be anywhere near as tanky. She's going to be taking a ton of damage from those charges that the early lancers are going to be doing on her. It's just going to be purely beneficial to go for the early knight. For the woman at arms instead. It does look like we're going to be getting a 2 TC play from our J'Dark player. No second TC. It doesn't look like we're going to be getting a second TC at all from SAS. It more looks like he's going to be going into a fast castle off of his Kremlin. quite a few sheep still out there. Where's J'Dark? She does go into the woman at arms, gonna be going towards her boar. What does Fax know? He doesn't know where the second boar is, which is fine, because that's on the complete opposite side of the map. So I would have highly doubted he'd venture off that way in order to get a boar. But there aren't any there aren't any wolf left on the map. So that's all Fax is going to be getting, is a single boar. Yeah, I don't see a single wolf anywhere. And that has to do with the double scout opener from our RUS player in order to get his bounty up. He sent one through the from the far west all the way northbound, one to the east all the way eastbound, right? He cleared up everything, all the loose wolves that were there. And now J'Dark's going to be a little starved in terms of experience. Where is she at now? Just healing up. First consecration hasn't procced quite yet. Second TC will be coming up. Where are you planting your second TC? That's not a bad spot. Secures gold, berries, berries, gold, wood, and of course the most important thing, the deer. Bringing it up with 8 villagers right now. J'Dark is there trading, and there goes the fast castle for our RUS player, straight into a high trade house. Stables coming down as well. He's going to start cranking out as many knights as he can, or excuse me, as many lancers as he can from there. Nothing else too spectacular happening. First consecration goes down on the School of Cavalry. Stables coming down as well. And these villager numbers are going to start going hugely in the favor of Fax within the next 2 to 4 minutes, as long as he doesn't take heavy eco damage from it. Okay, the scout is faster. For a moment there, it looked like J'Dark was about to catch up to that scout. That would have been insane. I think her charge puts her up to like 1.6 something, or like 1.5 something. But either way, as long as Fax doesn't take too much eco damage from these lancers that are going to be coming out, veterancy also in queue, he should be in a pretty solid spot. 2 TC against 1 TC. Yes, it is feudal against castle, but he does have J'Dark, a very, very good offensive and defensive unit that could tank a lot of damage. Keep in mind that J'Dark still has Royal Knights available to him, or available to her, and it's consecrated, which means that there are cheaper. What is it? 35 food cheaper. And they're able to produce from the stables and from the cavalry, School of Cavalry. A lot of damage getting put onto that Royal Knight. Brings it down to almost half health. Charge trying to come through from the early Knight. Veterancy still hasn't finished off. It's about to in the next 2 seconds. Arrow slits are coming through for our J'Dark player. Where exactly is your outpost over here on your gold? Looks like Fax is going to try to go up to... Wait. Oh, just force drop off to get chivalry. Okay. I'm like, he doesn't have enough food to age up. Why did he do a forced drop off? Just to get the chivalry up and running as fast as possible. Only 4 villagers are on the board, even though it's optimal to have all 8 of them there. But it be like that sometimes, right, guys? Arrow slits finished onto that outpost. No walls whatsoever for our J'Dark player. 1 idle villager over here somewhere. High trade house just gonna be giving out a ton of deer for free. This has been pretty passive for both players. A little attempted harass, which doesn't really mean much when it's a single knight trying to harass underneath the Kremlin. Chivalry is done. And SAS picks off his own boar at the moment. He is moving villagers over. We're gonna see a fortified outpost for him and his mill coming up shortly. That SAS, move your, okay, there you go. Okay, there we go. That was a lot of just as he moves out, the Royal Knights are moving in. Charge goes off onto the first Royal Knight. The other charges do not connect. The Wooden Fortress is going to be coming up. It's going to be a very, very good defensive position for him while he's gathering up that boar. Another charge goes off on the Royal Knight, picks one off on the retreat. And then over here on the west side of SAS's base, these knights are still kind of camping out next to these woods to stop the villagers, but the villagers just got pulled to the back of the base anyways, which is obviously a way safer place to be. I wonder if there could have been a better position for this high trade house. What is he at? 80, 160. It doesn't tell us how many. I think he could have had a better position on that. Still no age up yet for our J'Dark player, sitting on 50 villagers to 37. And this is what I was talking about. As long as he doesn't take any eco damage from those from those knights, then there wasn't going to be much to worry about. His eco is just going to explode. Monastery finally coming down for Fax, since he has been sitting in castle for quite some time now. And this is a huge force coming over for J'Dark towards SAS's Wooden Fortress. And his, is he gonna just straight up bypass that? Really? That's a lot of potential villagers that you could get there, buddy. Okay, so he decides to go in for it. Villagers get put inside of the outpost, or inside of the fortress rather. And on the other side of the map, we see a ton of knights. Not a ton, quite a few knights going in, get a charge off. First villager goes down in favor of focus fire on J'Dark, gets her really low. I think, is she going to be able to get experience from way back there? SAS decides to back out from getting any other further harass in order to defend the rest of his villagers that he has down here. They did get pulled out in order to attempt to repair. 3 villagers total have been pulled. The militia have been brought out in order to defend this as well. I think it was a little too late on that though. Holy Wrath goes, hits 3 of them, I want to say, and this gets completely cleaned up. Plus 8 kills go over to J'Dark. She is a force of nature. Look at that. She is getting a little focus fired though, bringing her down to 6 HP. Are they going to be able to get the kill off on her before the rest of his army dies? Yes, J'Dark does go down. We'll see if we get a buyback though. But SAS did lose a lot of his army right there. And the buyback goes off on J'Dark. She's back and ready to fight. Charge going off on the Royal Knights. Are they going to be able to connect? They connect onto the Scout, all 3 of them. And now Fax is sitting on 17 Royal Knights, J'Dark again, and J'Dark against 6-4 Knights. GG gets called. Game goes over to J'Dark. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.